I bought me one of these. That is just like stunned. Wow. Let's figure out the plan for the front brake lines on the old Area 51 project. I'm going to do this one. Shout. Okay, right. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on YouTube. Dave here in the garage, the Area 51, and bought a thing. Let's have a look. Okay, so last video we were doing fuel lines, a couple of videos we spent doing brake lines down the back, and that was a shit fight. Now I still got to do the front brake lines, so I didn't really want to fight with that little cheapo brake tool, so I bought me one of these off the old off the Amazon. I needed to get some more bundy, and I had been humming and hawing about buying one of these for ages, so I bit the bullet and I bought one, and I haven't used it yet, so I'm gonna give it a whirl, do some test runs and just see how good these things are, and yeah, let's get at it. Hopefully it's as good as they look on the on all the reviews and the tally and stuff like that. Okay, so what I've sort of seen, you just put them in the vise, like so, crank it up, pull that thing out and stuff. It's got like all your different, got some different die things for doing, I don't know, it's got like, obviously there's angled ones for doing like 45 degrees or whatever they are, yeah, 45s, it's got written on the end of it. And this is the one for the 3/16, which is our brake bundy size, which is that stuff. And then we've got 1/4 inch, 5/16, and some big one there, which is 3/8, which probably would have been quite handy to do those bubble flares last week on the old transmission lines. So, but that's done now, that's alright. So look, that one's actually got like a little sample one in there. If they can make those that good, I'd be happy, but I don't need to do 5/16, I need to do the little ones, the, what are they, 3/16. Didn't really get a lot out of the book as far as exactly how to do it, because, you know, just kind of tells you stick the thing in there, do this, do that, and away you go. But I went and looked online at the Eastwood video on how to operate theirs. It was exactly the same. I don't know whether the build quality is any different, but Eastwood's one's the same. So according to the Eastwood YouTube video, if you go and have a look at that, it'll tell you probably a bit more expertly than me over here. I'm going to try a little test run on this and see what it does. Just got to file, kind of deburr the end of that. Really should get one of those little tools that deburr this, but I haven't got many flares left to do. I've got basically about 3 or 4 to do on the lines, and then a couple up at the master cylinder, and then that's the brakes done and dusted. But I just, like, I couldn't stomach the idea of going through fighting with that little cheap one again, so I'm gonna, yeah, I bit the bullet. I'm probably, you know, once you have the tool you find more reasons to use it, so I'll probably end up redoing the brakes on everything just because I can. Alrighty, so according to the Eastwood thing, you put that in, put your tube in. Hang on, I've just got to get it around to there. So you put your tube in, put that in. This is the zero out button. You clamp that up on there. Kind of give it a bit of a pinch up. Oh, I need the handle. Got to chuck the handle in. So, and then you push that back to its flush. Then you can crank that up, crank it down. Don't know how much you have to crank it down. So we want to do, is it 3/16, which is that one. And I want to just put a little bit of grease on there as well. I need something. I don't want to get it on my finger, so just use a little screwdriver. Just put a little bit of grease on the thingamy. Just to, I don't know, hopefully make it work better. And then you go like that with the 3/16 step 1 or operation. Hang on, am I doing this the right way? No. That one, operation 1. Put a little bit of grease on there. Nearly cocked it up. And so you go like that until it's down home. And that's the first phase of the flaring. So then that's op 2 for 3/16, which must be does the final bubble. And go like that. Let's see how good they are. That was just too easy. Look at that. Wow. That was effortless compared to that other little Mickey Mouse thing that I was trying to do them with. That is just like, oh my god, stunned. Wow. I wonder if I should redo the rest of them now. They should be alright, but far out, that's just like, that's super easy. There's really no effort goes into it, and that makes a beautiful flare. That's that nickel copper stuff. That's real kind of flares, kind of easier than the steel bundy. I've got a piece up here that's got like some mangled old attempts with the old system on there. So I'm gonna try one in this harder steel bundy and see what that does. Those ones weren't too bad. That one's wonky. That one there wasn't too bad. No, it's a bit ugly, but we'll try this. Give it a minute. Just got to cut it off. Not really a prepared kind of YouTube tutorial, but just sort of thought I'd try this, and before I go running all my lines and stuff. Where's that file? Is that enough? Hopefully. I'll just dab a tiniest little bit of. Okay, so put a little touch of grease on there. Just, I don't know, just make it sort of do what it's supposed to do. And turn that on to op 1. Make sure we get that round the right way. Put that in there, lock that in, pinch it down, not tight but just pinch it. Crank that tight. Now we've got to go to, that's 0, op 0, so we've got to go 3/16 op 1, which is that little mamma jamma there. And then we go here. That's a little bit more effort to do this line than the copper nickel stuff. And we get op 2, 3/16, which will make the tuck in on the double flare. And we go, and we undo, and we have a look. And that is another perfect flare. That's awesome. That's so much better, so much easier, so much more precise than the those little, you know, that little tool, the cheapy ones that I had. You know, compared to that one, that one's kind of a bit gnarly around the edge, and you know, that's kind of ugly. But look at that. That looks like it was done by a professional. So yeah, like super happy with that. What I might try is some of this. This is 3/8 fuel line, I think. Need to straighten a bit out. I don't know if I can straighten it out. Anyway, I need to change the dies to go to 5/16 it is. So pull out those and grab as a 5/16. It's 3/8. There it is, 5/16. So again, these ones have got the angled thing, and then the square one. I'm going to try see what that does, but for now I just want to see what the old bubble flare looks like on the old 5/16. Actually, I probably should deburr it, eh? The old little round file. So I've got to go to the 0. I'm going to go bubble flare. Put that in, push that down, 0 it out. You still watching? You haven't gone and watched some twerking or something on YouTube instead? Still watching moi? So what did I say this was? 5/16. Yeah, I'm hopeless with remembering what these fractions are. I forgot to put a bit of grease on there. 3/16, 5/16, so that's that little sucker there. I'll just smear a little bit around there. And it's 1/4, 5/16. That's op 1, 2, and it's 5/16 over there. So I'll just chuck a little bit on there just for good measure. So squared it out, I'm going to go chuck it around onto there for operation 1. Just make sure that's tight. That takes a bit more effort. That makes the first stage of the bubble, which you could use. I probably shouldn't do this, I'll probably mess it all up by doing this, but I want to show you. You could just do that first stage of your bubble like that for like just holding, you know, as a bubble for like rubber. If you're putting a rubber trans line on and a hose clamp behind it, that's kind of what I'd use that for. But I'll try and finish it as an actual 45-degree flare. Probably won't be as good because I've taken it out. It might be as good, I don't know. So you go to op 2 for 5/16, which is there, and then go here. Is that it? Yep. Check it out. Where's the rag? Check it out. That makes nice flares. A little bit more effort on this kind of steel bundy or zinc galvanized or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. Looks like it's copper lined, but that makes a superb flare. Wow. I should have bought one of these years ago. Right, I wonder what the other, if you turn it around the other way, does. Not the other way, it's just squared off, so I might try that. See what it does. Yeah. It's a nice clean edge. I'll just chuck this one in there. And we've got 0 on the square side. In there, lock and load. Oh, hang on, not too tight. You've got to 0 it out, crank it out, and what size is this? 5/16, op 1. Where is it? There. See what that does. Ready? Push. That flares it, bubbles it, and then do the second stage. That makes a different kind of flare. I'm not really sure what the difference is. That's kind of much flatter on the back edge. Must be for different types of fittings. 30 something degrees, I think, possibly. But yeah, check that out. That's what it does with those ones when it's on that square edge, that, you know, the flatter one. Primo. Wow, all I can say is wow. They're probably the main two fuel or line sizes I would be most likely to use for anything. Like I've used that size, the 5/16 was a fuel line that I bought for my Plymouth Fury. I had to replace a section of fuel line on that had kind of just wore out. And then the other is just the old 3/16 bundy for brake lines. Some people put bigger stuff in brake lines, apparently. I don't know that much really about it. but yeah, man, wow, they make like super clean, super easy. If you want to replumb the brake lines on your car yourself, and you're prepared to drop a little bit of extra coin on the tool to do it, then one of these choice. I've heard that those little handheld in situation ones are really good too, but I sort of thought I would buy one that had a little bit more scope to do like fuel lines and stuff like that as well, and flaring like 5/16 stuff for you know, trans lines and stuff like that, just because, you know, I've done it now, but it just means in the future, if I get other projects where I need to do this sort of thing, I have got the good stuff. Wow, that's so cool. That is just like, I just do this, make brake flares all day. That's just so easy. Yeah, so let's figure out the plan for the front brake lines on the old Area 51 project. Alrighty, before I do anything, I'm going to put this stuff away, tape up the ends and whatnot, keep dust and crap out there for the fuel lines that are going to be staying there. But I'll just get this out of the way so we can roll this body back, as it's not raining for a change. Man, we've had some cyclone something or other come, I can't remember what they called it, come through last weekend or early this week, and kind of really hammered a couple of regions in the North Island here pretty hard. We got off really lightly, so that was good for us, but yeah, people died. It wasn't good. And some of the regions, people lost their homes and all sorts of stuff, and their lives, you know, little ones, animals, farms, all sorts. It's going to be a long road to recover for the folks down in the Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, Wairoa, which is all out that way, out east of where we are here. But yeah, all the best to them. Hopefully they get through it. Alrighty, so like got a bunch of fittings, a couple of T's. Can't remember which is which now. One of them was a different size, like they gave me two at the shop, and then one I'd forgot that I'd ordered on the interweb, and that arrived, and that was fine. So I got this extra one. So, but it's also got that little thing there which for mounting it. Same with that one, you could put a roof-cert into the chassis, pinch that down on there. This one here, I don't know whether it would really make that much difference. It's got a little locking tab on it. I don't know which one I'll use yet, but there was something different about one of them that I got. Let's just check the threadage on there. They seem to be the same. I don't know. Something was up. This one here, that actually gets more thread into the T, which I might go with that one and just keep that as a spare. I don't know if you can see that. That's them wound in without any flare on them. So with the flare on them, they're probably going to be out here and not really much thread biting into it. So answered my question. Not going to use that one on this project. I'll use this one. So I've got to figure out where I'm going to put it. Got to figure out my fittings for the end of the old Willwood brake hoses, and I've got to put a P-clamp on these too somewhere, and my tyres going flat, and got to figure out the routing that I want to take with this. Someone pulling up out the front there, because because this is the front body mount, so I was thinking of putting my joint, my T sort of possibly on here or in here. Could even double up on that P-clamp line there, mount my T there for my front brakes, because the booster will be around, I don't know, around here somewhere, so I could run the lines down the firewall into the T. You reckon? I might try that in there actually, try putting that T there and see whether it's gonna, is it gonna be too far back? Where's the other body mount there? So this is kind of like a no man's land behind these front mounts, where I can kind of run things like my fuel line, and these brake lines can kind of come up and over the chassis here, which is kind of where I want to go. As for running the brakes line to the other side, I see a lot of people run them up and over the firewall and stuff like that. I don't really want to do that, because I want to get these all plumbed up and in before the body goes back on, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna probably run them up the front somewhere, somehow, and then across that front cross member on the back side of it, and then back down to the mirroring sort of over to the other side, so the whole front brake line runs that way. Now I could actually run them on the heights cross member, I suppose. I could tip them down in there, but I've got to avoid the steering UJ and stuff like that, so I may even, oh crikey, I don't know. Do I bring it up, run it through on the inside of the rail? No, because I've got that coil bloody things there. Do I run them, you know, come up onto my T, come up onto the chassis and round and tuck it under the engine mount, back out onto the top of the chassis and then down and across? That would clear my coil relocation doodads and my steering. God, is that, yeah, I had the steering in there when I mounted those up, hey, yeah, so that steering shaft will clear the coil relocation. If that coil relocation thing becomes a hassle, I'll just put the coils back on top of the rocker covers and be done with it. I don't really like them up there, I think they look ugly. But yeah, so yeah, got to work out a plan. Let me think about it. Okay, so I got my T just bolted up on there and formulating a bit of a plan. I went up the front and measured back from this mount to where the body will connect with the frame sort of thing, and there's a tiny little mark there. So if I'm going to bring this line across and over and then back into the T there, and then the opposite side I'll come off the back side, and this will come down off the old from the master cylinder and booster assembly. I've just kind of loosely got this steering column shaft thing and the UJ sitting in place, and I've just to make sure I can kind of run the brake line up the top of that rail there and clear everything I want to clear. But I think I might have found a little glitch in my mock-up. Now when I set this all up, I don't think I had the rack fully bolted on hard. I thought I did, but now it's, that bottom UJ is like really close to that notch I put in the frame. Depending on what angle it's on, it clears, but we can't have any more than 30 degrees on these UJs or they won't pass it for cert. So if it was like that, it would clear, but I think that's over and above what I had it set up as. And I set up an angle gauge on all of these when I was setting it all up, and now it might be out. So that I've got that grub screw kind of into the little locking notch. That was my jandle. So I may have to kind of notch out a bit more of that chassis now that the motor's in, of course, and just a clearance for the old that UJ, unfortunately. I don't think it goes any further back. I'll just double check, but just wind that back. It goes down further, but then that little grub screw kind of locks into, there's a recess on the spline on the rack and pinion, so that's got to sit in there somewhere, somehow. Well, why won't it go in any further? Because the locking nut won't let me put it in any further. So that I'll just snug it up a little bit. So that's kind of where it's got to sit. Yeah, so I can't remember what kind of angle off the top of my head this sat at before. But yeah, as you can see, she's close. So if it's like that, she's going to connect, which is not good. She's like that, too far that way, it's going to be too much angle on these joints. So it probably would just clear if it was all tight, but it looks like I'm going to have to grind a little bit off of the air and do a little bit of on the old satin black. So distraction anyway. Brake lines is where I'm supposed to be going with this. I might put a little mark on that with a white pencil just to remind me to notch that out later on. Yeah, kind of bummed out about that, but it is what it is. This is why I didn't do the high-end paint finish on my chassis. One of the reasons. The other is because I'm slack. So I'm just gonna get in here and I'm gonna take about that much out of it. Give it plenty of room to go. When I did that notch originally, I welded it all, so I may have to jack all this up and try and kind of weld it before I paint it. Or I could even get in there with the TIG and kind of fusion it. I don't know. Cross that bridge when we come to it. Alright, so I think I need a couple of these for the old brake lines. That gonna fit in there? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's what I want. I want those. The other one's already on there. So, and I've already got one flare done on this piece here, so I might take that out. Put these away so they don't get muddled up. And I'll put the wrong fitting on there. So, one of them. Alright, since I've already got one of these done, take that little bung off. I'll put that one on there. Check it out. Right, pretty, pretty. Yeah, let's figure out how I'm going to run this. I'm going to mark it, and might need a pen for that. Cut it and make the first little section. Oh, not your old pen. So, hang on. I already had that in there, so that's going to go there. Put that one back up on the bench. You'll probably lose it. Now we're going to have a bolt and body mount stuff coming through there, so I've got to figure out how I want to clear all of that, just to be on the safe side. I don't know how all the factory stuff was done. It was all stripped off when I got this already, so I might just do a little 90 bend after the so it's going to be enough of a 90. Get away from the old body mount bolts. So we want to kind of bring it up, probably up and over, and then I can put another, put another little P-clamp on the top, or probably could actually, and then double up this, because this brake line here is going to come up to the booster, and this one's going to come along, come down, loop back around and into there. Yeah, so if we come up that way, just rough this in for now, and then when I've kind of got it roughed in, I can go and straighten it all out a bit more, a bit better. Alrighty, so kind of worked out my routing. I had to kind of consider some of the other like bits of sheet metal that I've got to get bolted back in there on the bottom of that chassis rail and stuff. So I kind of changed my mind as to exactly where I was going to bring it up over the chassis. Didn't want to take it down under the chassis because, you know, if someone, not me, you know, like, you know, chucked a jack underneath there and started jacking it up and then crushed one of the brake lines or something, it just wouldn't be ideal. So I want to try and run all these lines somewhere pretty secure, you know what I'm saying? Now I just got to try and straighten it out a bit, and made it, rebending it made it a little bit wonky, so I'll play around with this, straighten it out a bit better hopefully. Yeah, so at the moment it's not bad, but she's got a little bit of a wave going on where I bent it the first time. Too cheap to scrap it and then do it again. So I'll just persevere. Put the fitting on next, alright? Gotta make sure you do that. Now, have we got the right one on here now? Yep. The right way. Yep. That in there. That in there. Kind of pinch it up. Follow the book. Stop op 1. I've got 3/16 op 1. So that one there. And do the first step. Yeah. And then we go 3/16 op 2, which will be that one there. And then we go. Yeah. There. And look at that. Alrighty, so that's step 1. Ooh, there's my knees on the old that front brake line. Now I'm going to use this hole here and I'll drill a, widen it out and put a rib nut in there and P-clamp it. I may even put one up there just to pull that back tighter against the frame, just so it's sort of like less exposed. Maybe, you don't think it'll make any difference, but you know, just might as well keep it tidy-ish, even though it's a little bit wonky, wobbly. I still got to put P-clamps on these, but I can't remember where I decided I was going to do it. You just get this back up to its ride height, figure that part of the business out. But next is figuring out the routing I'm going to take to run the other side. This is going to be the tricky one. This is where I'm going to have a big tangled up mess of bundy. But like I say, I was thinking of bringing it from the T up and then bring it up on top of the chassis up here and round and under that engine mount, and then round and then go, I don't know, maybe go down earlier. I know I've got to have trans lines around here somewhere, so I might kind of bring it down around here somewhere maybe. As with before, I don't want to take it on the underside of the chassis in any way, just in case, you know, someone just jacks in there with a jacking, just jacks it up and just squishes that line. Don't want that to happen. Don't want it to happen. No, that'll be bad. Yeah, so I have to unravel some of that. I wonder if I could do it kind of rough measuring, kind of cut it roughly to size, so I'm not wrestling with the whole 25 foot. Probably just be 12 foot or something. Yeah, I'll do that. Alrighty, so I came to the decision that I needed to do that little clearancing down there for that steering UJ. Now that should sit around about there. Hopefully you can see that in this light, but there should be enough clearance in there. Once it's all tightened up, there's not a lot of sort of wiggle room and stuff, even on the old, you know, flex of the old thing there. Worst case scenario is I'd have to kind of pull this out and grind some more out of there. But the other obstacle I've got for this front brake line is my coils. They're going to sit there. Hopefully, I didn't even think about the coils when I was doing that trans line, so I got that kind of close. So I think, and I've just been and had a look at the hardware for the body mount and whatnot, so it's only like a, I don't know, 3/8, 5/8, whatever. It's a bolt about that big as that trans line that is going to go through here with a big washer and a nut and stuff on it. So I'm kind of thinking I might be able to, if I can sneak the brake line along here and just basically come scoot it straight up, kind of right up next to this mount, and then up onto the top, across the top and down. And I'm thinking I might go across the back of the main cross member if I can get it down past this steering stuff. Yeah, I don't know what other options I've got as far as, you know, I don't want to take it underneath. As I said before, you kind of run the risk of kind of crushing it if someone jacks it up off there or whatever. So I kind of was thinking of coming across the top, scooting down and across, and then down and wiggling it around and weaving it through onto that cross member, and then kind of bringing it up in the same fashion and following the same kind of route on this side. If that makes sense. Yeah? Okay. Well, and with that in mind, if I cock it up, I've used less material, so I'll have more spare to do it again. Thinking. Now I'll do a quick sort of measure. It's got like 1/2 metre, and we're going to go, you know, 1/2 metre, and then we add like a couple of 100 mil to get down and wiggle around the place. And then between the rails we've got another 600. That's say 13. What have we got? 5, 11, 1300, 1500. And come through here and over. I'm not going to go under there, so we'll go under, up further up. And then, what do I get up to? 500. far enough away from that exhaust. Hey, should boil the brakes, or do I bring it up over here and then loop it around on this side? Could do that. Could possibly do that. Oh, there's my dipstick. Is that thing down there? Dipstick. Okay, I completely lost count of what I was thinking. I got distracted looking at stuff. So I'm going to go, shut up bed. I'm going to go like, let's say 500, 700, 1300, 1500. Okay, 2 meters. So I'll roll off 2 meters of that bundy, and that'll be my starting point. Might actually jack this up higher so I can wriggle around underneath it. You know what I'm saying? Choice. Should have done this before I put the motor in, but I hadn't actually even, don't think I'd actually ordered this flaring tool, so there we go. Just wheeling off a couple of meters of this. Hopefully 2 meters will be enough. I wonder if I should go a little bit more, just to be on the safe side. How do you get it straight? That's right. Let's have a quick measure. Yeah, about 1 meter. 2.2. 2.3. I'll go 2.3 just to be on the safe side. That'll give me heaps of excess around about there. My little cutty thing. Yep. That'll pinch up. Whoa, baby. Chuck that over there. This over here. Alright. How do I start? Really should have done this before I put the motor in. For some reason I thought it would be easier. Don't know why I was thinking that anyway, so let's go. I know I might not film all of this, it'll probably be lots of crying and a little bit of swearing. I'll just kind of update you when I'm kind of getting closer to using my new flare tool. Just had like a heart-stopping moment. That jack stand collapsed. Well, it dropped off whatever tooth it was on, and fortunately I wasn't underneath it doing anything, because like holy shit, that was heart's hammering. So I might swap those stands out actually for the other ones, or investigate further. Why did that let go? Didn't break. It just I mustn't have clipped it in properly. Oh, that's scary. Oh. I wasn't even like doing much. I wasn't, oops, shit. I wasn't far away from actually getting underneath it and trying to route this brake line. But should I put it back on this? Maybe I'll leave the jack under it. 10 tool. I think that's. I'll leave the jack under there as much as I can. Jumping up and down on it. It seems to be pretty good now. So, yeah, carry on. Anyway, this is as far as I've got. I was actually just screwing that in, and I was about to start wiggling on this. So this is the route that I'm taking anyway, so I'll just let my heart slow down a little bit before I go and try to do the next bit. Okay, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is my front brake line from the splitter to the opposite caliper. So all I've got to do really now is put my flare nuts on, do my flares in my fancy Nancy flare tool, and then do all the P-clips and that have to be done enough to to satisfy our low volume certification process, which will be every 300 millimeters, as I've said in previous videos. Yeah. Okay. So, but it's not perfectly fitting at the moment because I was, you know, kind of just all wiggling around all over the place. So what I'm going to do is put my flares on, fit one end, fit the P-clamp, and then work my way through, clamp it, and kind of straighten it and dial it in as I go. Now I've left a little bit of a loop back here, so I can kind of like put a kink in it if I need to kind of take up some of the length at the end. Probably can't take up any of the length anywhere else because it's already too far gone. So yeah, so let's do that, do some flares. Yeah, got me the correct flare nuts on at the correct ends. I'm just gonna that one's just kind of wedged up there at the moment, so hopefully it won't fall off while I'm doing the first one. The old deburring device. 5. And there, and there, and there. Just pinch that up a little bit. 0 it. Crank it. Is it 3/16? 1? Yeah. Yep. Like that. Yeah. Operation 2. Yeah. Oh my god, this is so good. So good. Alright, just deburr that one. I'm so happy cause today I got a brake flaring tool. And it's so much better than anything else I've ever used. Mambo. I'm going to do this one. Watch out. Shut up. Okay. I'm going to fight. Move it in the wrong way. The right way. Okay. Might just have to open that up a little bit. On there. Operation 1, 3/16. Yeah. Operation 2. Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. Just next level. Got my flare on there. That's just so good. Right, anyway, stop bragging about how cool my brake flaring tool is. Let's go and put this on there. Should blow some air through this before I do that. Yeah. Goes down there like that. And it just goes like easy as. Where's that clip? Has made its way all the way over there. It's supposed to be over here. So that now go. Come on. Might have to go tweak, tweak, tweak. Oh, get in there. There we go. Just a little bit of tension on there, just creating a little bit of tension. So I had to relieve said tension and get it started. The old Allen key. Just get this started and make sure she's landing roughly in the right place on the other side. Nope, not at all. That's good. So she's kind of all landing where she's supposed to be landing, kind of. Okay, so this is where we have to get into drilling some holes on my laying on the ground, getting burnt by hot burning shavings. Punch, drill, drill again, tap without even snapping it. Okay, there's a poem. There we go. Tap. Just got to put this P-clip on. Actually, I should scrub off my pencil marks. I didn't do that on the other side. I always do that. Remember, on the second side. Oh, no. Oh, God. Yeah. Alright, P-clip. Yeah. Alright, getting close. That's a bit high over there. I wonder if I can massage that down with a hammer. But yeah, so I'm going to put a P-clip up the top here, and then I can maybe finagle this stuff here around just a tad more. Yeah, little P-clip in here, got the old riv nut in there. So I don't know if you've seen me doing these before, the old riv nuts. Pretty handy little tool for this type of thing. I tapped that cross member because it's kind of a thicker steel. This frame's only probably a millimetre and a half. I don't know, I haven't remembered the 1/16 of something or other that is, but it's not much. Alright, so that one kind of P-clipped in. Still got a little bit of trying to massaging underneath there to do, but that's kind of how she's going at the moment. See down there, she's still a bit all over the place. I want to try and tighten that up. And down here, I'm gonna need to put a I don't know, maybe another P-clip in down here somewhere, just to get that kind of more rigid so it doesn't do that. Yeah, I mean, you want a little bit of flex. You don't want them too tight, I guess, but you don't want them kind of like flapping around, like, you know, flap around in the breeze type thing, eh? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to make some decisions on where to do the P-clippage, and then get in there. Well, hey guys, all P-clipped up, put an extra one up there and another couple down there. I didn't put any on the inside there. Ooh, a little bit of whoop-de-woo there. Tightened that up. Need to put some tape over that to stop dust getting in there. She's all clipped up across the bottom. I'll have to try that steering UJ on there, just make sure it clears there. I'm pretty sure it will, otherwise I'll just have to go and do a little bit of bendy around there. Tucked another clip in down here and one on top here, so that's all, you know, tightish but not overly tight, and the ones down the bottom there, and we kind of pulled that in a little tighter and around the cross member. So that's essentially the front brakes plumbed. But I just had a thought about the rear brakes now. Now that I've got my Harry Flash flaring doodad there that does Harry Flash really good flares, I still need to put the nut and the flare on the rear brake part. You know, that bit there that's just hanging there. Now I left that thing, you know, assuming that I've left it sort of oversized, hoping it is, like the booster should end up around about here, so it's not massively oversized, and by the time I kind of route it around up against the firewall and up that body mount and get it in there, it's actually probably going to be about the right size. So here's my thinking. I'm thinking, pardon me, of putting the flare nut on now. While I can, well, I can't actually get that, unless I take it all off again, I can't get that over to the vise. So I've got to figure out if I can use that thing, not in the vise. Here I am, like, just trying to do things my own way when it's clearly made to fit in a vise, and I'm gonna try and do something not in the vise. But yeah, So anyway, but okay, so this is got the booster master that I'm going to use. I think this is the rear. Everything I've kind of read and tells me that the closest to the firewall is the front and that is the rear, except on sort of older stuff. Older stuff seem to be the other way around, which, yeah. But anyway, that's the type of flare that's on here. And you know when I showed you that second half of the die there, that's what it makes, like for that sort, that kind of like little bubble flare with the kind of flat bottom and across there. So I'm going to try and make one of those, not in the vise, with my new flare tool thing. I don't know, I've got to take it out and see if I can figure out if I can clamp it to something closer down there, or no, I've got my old vise, but then I still have to bolt that to something. But anyway, we'll have a look. Okay, so I've got it set up. I've done the old leveled it, whatever you call it, clamped it up tight. Now I've got to go for, was it 3/16? So I've got to go get that on there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this unless I get hold fire. Okay, maybe this will work. So I've just got these big I don't know what you call these. I call these like plumbers things. I don't know, I can't remember what they're called, but I'm gonna use that to hold it. Hopefully that worked. Take that off. That off. Beauty. And check it out. I put my fitting on. So that's all that left. Done. Only brake line left to do. See, that's done. See? Yeah, cool. That worked just like it is. Now that's not your normal flare thing. It's got this. It doesn't do an inverted flare. It's like a bubble flare, I think. Well guys, that's it. As pointed out earlier, there's all my front brake lines done. Got one more piece to make up, which is when we go from that splitter up to the front circuit on the master cylinder, which will be up around here-ish, about. This is the brake one. I've just weaved it up there now, for now, so I don't kind of keep banging it around over there. I'll just kind of bang it around up there. I'll drop it back down onto the ground. And yeah, like I said, pinned up, clipped up, plumbed up, flared up. So that's where we're at. Not a lot left that I want to do to this chassis before, you know, I'll call the chassis area kind of done. I would like to do the exhaust and at least run all the air lines before the body goes back on. Still got a lot of work to do on the body, so I can start that anytime now. I want to do the firewall and all the underside, all that Scody shit up under there before the body goes back on to the chassis. So we'll see how we go. I might kind of itching to get into the firewall. There's a couple of rusty bits on the front body mounts that I've got to take care of. Not sure how I'm going to do those yet, but we'll do them, so don't you panic. We'll figure it out, and I'll show you, bring you along for a look-see if you're keen. Alrighty, so the elephant in the room. What do I think of this flaring tool? You probably know. It is awesome. Awesome. Like, if you want to do flares on your car, get one of those. It's worth the money. It's just so worth it. It makes it such an easy job. I wish I'd bought one years ago. It's like my new favourite tool. My other favourite tool is, where is it? Where are you, fella? Let's have a look at it. Can't find it. My RivCert tool. This is just awesome. Riv nuts, riv certs, whatever you want to call them. That thing is the duck's guts as well. As you can tell, they're all over this build. There's RivCerts everywhere. Okie dokie, so that's it for this video anyway. Like, front brake line's done, new flare tool used, broken in, cherry popped, absolutely fantastic piece of kit, man. Like if you're going to do your own brake lines, get one of those. These are the Duck's Guts. This is just off Amazon. It's a bit of a no-name brand, I think, but it's the same as like the Eastwood ones and the bigger name brands. It might just be a lower build quality, or it just could be the same factory, different packaging, different price tag. Yeah, so it's awesome. It does the most beautiful flares for your brake flares, inverted 45 double flares. The other ones that I just did on that one, can't remember what they're called, like just a bubble flare, maybe something like that. But anyway, absolutely awesome. So speaking of which, subscribe, because DMAC Customs YouTube channel is awesome. Like, where else are you going to go to get this level of quality entertainment and YouTubeage? So just get on there and subscribe. Don't be a pussy, and come back and watch some more me doing some shit over and over again until I get it right, and rightish, half right. And anyway, so yeah, get on that, subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your mother. Well, she already knows, to be fair. And yeah, just get on there, do it. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and till next time, take it easy and peace.